Hi, everybody. Pastor Kirk here on a drizzly cold Thursday. Well, it's not that cold. Half the country is in freezing temperatures from that Arctic thermal that blasted down from the north. Glad to be in Northern California instead of North Dakota. You know, my tangerine tree doesn't mind the weather, and it is exploding with ripe sweetness. And I have 3 chickens. And they're all huddled against my patio door, beaks pressed against the glass, looking quite bedraggled, like I'm supposed to let them in to sit next to the heat vent. They're even pointing at our cat who is sacked out on the sofa with an indignant look as if we're discriminating against their species. They're domestic chickens. That doesn't mean indoor chickens, but try to tell them that. Hey, we're midway through the Advent season, the journey to Christmas. Week 1 was the journey to the manger. Week 2, the journey of a mother. And if you missed Paulette's excellent preaching, her message is posted on our FOPC website and our phone app. Week 3, this Sunday, is the journey of the Magi in Matthew chapter 2. This is one of my all-time favorite stories. And believe it or not, I've only preached it a couple of times because it usually comes after Christmas. For over 1,000 years, churches have celebrated the Magi's arrival on the first Sunday of Epiphany, which begins on January 6th, the 13th day after Christmas. 12th day of Christmas, and then the 13th day Epiphany begins. There were no Magi at the manger, right? Because Matthew says the family had moved into a house by then. And the Magi say that the star that they were following had appeared 2 years before. Jesus may even have been a toddler by that time. Do you notice our beautiful plaza tableau with the Magi scene? They got it right. Jesus is a young Jewish boy with a yarmulke. But our crash in the sanctuary, if you go look at it, it's down front on the organ side, got it wrong, as most creches do. Shepherds and wise men are kind of jostling each other for stable space. Anyway, one reason the Magi story connects with so many of us is because it's a journey story. Life is like a journey. And so the main idea for this Sunday goes like this: the journey that will satisfy our lifelong quest for wisdom and joy will take us to Jesus and will end in worship. See, we're on a lifelong quest, a journey. We're looking for joy. We're looking for truth. And both of those journeys will take us to Jesus, and they will end in worship. When we come to Jesus, we, like the wise men, bow down and worship him. Hey, a couple of church calendar things and some recent developments. Friday evening, today's Thursday, Friday's tomorrow. Tomorrow at FOPC at 7 o'clock, Eric Rainwater, our new classic worship leader, he's going to stage a performance of his new Christmas musical, Little Orphan Hannah. Imagine an orphanage next to the Bethlehem stable, okay, with an Annie-like orphan named Hannah. Eric's a longtime Christian music producer, and he regularly writes and composes musicals. And this Christmas, he is staging 2 original musicals, one for a cast of kids, one with a cast of teens. And Eric is busy nearly every day in Advent, putting on over 20 performances of these shows all over the Sacramento area. We get to see on Friday one of those. It's a show for adults and kids of all ages, so everybody come. Hey, in November we received the resignation of Jim Martinez as our church organist. And our relationship with Jim goes way back, goes back decades, when Jim was accompanist for our Promise Choir. And for some time now, Jim has been contemplating a return to a full-time jazz music ministry, and now he feels that time has come. All of us have enjoyed our friendship with Jim. We've admired his extraordinary artistry. We've found joy in his sacred jazz. And that music will be missed, and so will Jim. And we bid him farewell and Godspeed as an FOPC staff member. We bless him on his next season of life and ministry. And you can follow his concert gigs on Facebook and on jimmartinez.com. And his Charlie Brown Christmas concert, Friday, December 16, will be at Sunrise Community Church. Hey, I want to say again that coming in January 2017, we are adding a second classic worship service, okay? In the chapel at 10:30. Same preacher as at the 9 o'clock classic and the same hymns. We think this is going to be a welcome addition to folks who need a little more time to get to church on Sunday morning. And it's a strategy for growing that classic worship. We are absolutely committed to resourcing the absolutely best traditional classic style worship that you can find in this part of Sacramento. And to accommodate this change, we are also contracting all of our worship times to 60 to 65 minutes. And the launch date for this new service will be January 8, Sunday, January 8. Let me say a word about our Christmas weekend this year. It is a weird year when Christmas falls on a Sunday. And that makes planning and resourcing services very tricky. I would just ask everybody to understand the unusual logistical challenges. We think most of our church family will choose to come once, either on Saturday, Christmas Eve, or Sunday, Christmas Day. They're not a few will come both. And we think realistically, most families with kids will choose Saturday. So we've planned our family services for Saturday, Christmas Eve, at 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. And they're going to be completely wonderful. Everybody is invited. They will be contemporary in style. Our one Christmas Day service, which has typically run 400, 500 people when it falls on a Sunday, will be a traditional classic style story and carol service at 10 o'clock. Okay, 10 o'clock, one service in the sanctuary. So plenty of time to open presents, cook some pancakes, change out of your pajamas, and get to church. And it also will be wonderful, and everybody's invited. So folks who are looking for a traditional carol service, this is the service dedicated to you. I plan to be here, and I'll be preaching. Let me just say, I've heard already from several folks who feel disappointed, mad, apoplectic, because there's no traditional Christmas Eve service with choir and orchestra this year. Well, we are having your service. It's just on Christmas, not Christmas Eve. And we hope you'll keep Sabbath with us as we ring in the birth of Jesus. I mean, it would be a little strange, wouldn't it, to stay home from church on Sunday because it's Christmas. Part of our problem is that our worship director left in August, which is when a church begins planning and rehearsing for Christmas. But mainly, it's about Christmas falling on the weekend. I have since learned how important Christmas Eve is to practically everybody. And in the future, we will probably plan a traditional Christmas Eve service even on Saturday. Next year is on Sunday, which will also present challenges. But meanwhile, I just throw myself on the mercy of the congregation and plea for grace and forgiveness. Hey, that's all for now. Pray for Pastor Cliff. He came down sick midweek. We might see him on Sunday, but if we do, he'll be playing hurt like a good team guy. Hey, I love you, church, and I'll see you on Sunday.